Hey guys, this is Javin with AudioMediaProductionService.com. Today I want to go ahead and go over the output section of the Behringer X32. You do have 4 different buttons for layers on the Behringer X32 for your output section. So you would have, the first layer would be your DCAs, which DCA stands for Digitally Controlled Amplifier. These are just like VCAs in the analog world. VCAs stood for voltage controlled amplifier. Because we're on a digital console, we're not dealing with voltage. To go ahead and discuss what a DCA does, DCA is pretty much like a subgroup. If you're familiar with a subgroup, I can go ahead and select with the DCA multiple channels on the input section, and now I'd be able to control all of these simultaneously and keeping the ratios in between them the same with one fader. To assign an input to a DCA, all you gotta do is hold down the select button and then select the select buttons of the inputs that you want to add to it. When you deselect the DCA select button, now all those channels will be assigned to this. So for instance, if I select that and go ahead and choose my channel that you're hearing me through, you will see now that I'm getting signal routed to that DCA. And now you'll be able to hear me turn up and down with that fader right there. Moving on, we have the bus masters 1 through 8. And then we have 9 through 16. And I want to talk about these a little bit because these are customizable. You can either have them for your monitor sends, which I have my first 8 as monitor sends, and then you can also change them to subgroups. Reason why you can use a subgroup, the difference between a DCA and a subgroup is that you can add external processing and internal effects to a subgroup, but you can't to a DCA. To assign inputs to a subgroup, you would hit the select button, and then you would hit the sends on fader button in the middle. And now all you got to do is unmute the channels that you want go into that subgroup. So for instance, if I was to unmute my channel that you're hearing me through right now, you'll see I'll get signal here to that subgroup. And now my vocal got a little louder. And then to deselect it, you just go ahead and mute that channel. Going back to the monitor section, to go ahead and assign, if you wanted to get signal to a monitor send, there's 2 ways to do it on the compact. What you do is select the output you want to work on, and with that sends on fader button, when you have that flashing, you push that in, the inputs become your sends to that particular output. So I would do something like this to send my channels to that particular output, and then I go to work on monitor 2, same thing, and you'll notice that now that when I go back in between the 2, they're memorizing my sends for that particular output. The other way you can do this is not by selecting the output. You can actually select a particular channel. So you'd select the channel, hit sends on fader, which I'm not going to hit it because it's already flashing. And now this becomes the sends for that one channel you selected to all your outputs, which is really handy if you're line checking a band. So say you're working on the kick drum, you can select the channel, so you can still work on the front of house and your EQ. And if they need something in the monitors, you have it available on this side for that one particular channel. Say if someone came up to you and wanted to see their entire mix just for their monitor, you go select their bus, and now you can see all the inputs going to their monitor. These bus sends can also be sidechain effects sends, which, as you can see, I got a reverb and a plate right there. So if you wanted to hear reverb on my vocal, I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. So you would do it just like a monitor mix. You'd select the channel, hit sends on fader, and now I'm going to go ahead and send from here the reverb to my voice, which sounds pretty cool. Now I sound like I'm in a big hallway. Same with the echo. I have a delay. I got my tab delay routed to my user define section, so I will get to that in another video. But I would tap my tempo right there. Same thing, I would select that the effect send, hit sends on fader, and now I'll send delay to my voice. Moving on, we have the matrix section of the console. This section is pretty unique. With the recent update, they actually put crossover filters on this section. So matrices used to always be record outs, but now they give you the option to use these as crossover filters too. So you don't need to have an external crossover. So for example, I got mine. I do have crossover filters on matrix 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 on my scene is my main left and right. And then I also run subs on an aux, which I actually don't use one of my outputs there from the bus sends. I use the mono bus on this console. So this mono bus is routed to this matrix, and this matrix is routed to an output on the back of the board. As you can see, I got Linkwitz-Riley filter engaged right here for my main left and right. You can just simply change it by the EQ section. You can go in here and change the type of filter. They have Butterworth filters and things like that. They have different bandwidth that you can choose from, like -12, -24. I happen to have -24 on right now. And if I go ahead and select matrix 3, you can see that I have my crossover points set for my subs on an aux. One way to go ahead and assign your subs on an aux to an input, you would select the channel you want to work on. And up here on the fat channel, you have a mono bus section, your main left and right. You would engage the mono bus, and now this becomes your sends on a fader for that. And now you'll see this is moving up and down accordingly. So that's how I would send more subwoofer to that channel. Or you could do it the other way, just like a monitor mix. You could select the mono bus master and then sends on fader, and now these are all my masters or sends for that mono bus. And then of course next to the matrix section we have the main left and right, which also has the same functions as a channel strip. This one fader is stereo, so there's no need to have two, like some analog consoles had two faders there. So that pretty much covers the output section of the Behringer X32. If you like the videos I'm doing, please comment, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you don't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Haha, I hope you don't. If you got any other ideas for me to do future videos, I'm always open to suggestions. Just let me know down in the comments, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.